Okay, welcome back everybody. I've been doing videos but not been uploading them, so I think I will do this one though. This is an Optiplex 745, so this is a mini tower from Dell back in the day, and I can't remember when it was released. I know that I did some upgrades over the years, and you're just fiddling with it. I believe I did upgrade the CPU to a faster dual core. I can't remember which socket this is, but we are limited. It's a 775, but it won't take any of the newer 775s, and I can't recall what it is. But I want to actually upgrade it, meaning I'm going to try to put in an SSD. So it's just a 256 gig SSD from Micro Center Inland Professional. It's 18 bucks, and I want to swap out this 1 terabyte drive. The performance isn't as good as I expected with a 1 terabyte drive. There was just, I don't know why. It could be just that the drive is too big. I did add in a graphics card, and I can't recall what it is. I'm thinking it's a Radeon card, but I can't recall what it is. The power unit is what is actually going to limit us. So the dual core is installed. The disk drive was bad, so I put an HP disk drive in there, and I believe we have 4 gigs of RAM, DDR2. And so don't quote me on that. Again, a lot of things. I haven't fired this up in a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this, whatever it is, because I don't have this anymore. This might be a Wi-Fi dongle, maybe. Okay, so let's put that back in. It might be a Wi-Fi dongle. Who knows? But in the back of the computer, you see I have the HDMI, and it's a low profile bracket. HDMI, DVI, and then VGA. And we have a stereo parallel VGA onboard graphics. We have 6 USB 2.0, and we have LAN, and then we have headphone microphone out. And in the front, I don't believe we have anything else. We do have the floppy drive, which is nice to have, and the optical drive, 2 USB, and then headphone microphone power. So nothing else on the bottom really. So it's your standard business fare computer, and they were built pretty robustly. The power unit is something that I'm a little bit worried about, but don't think that we can actually easily replace this, because I believe it has a proprietary power connector on there, if I remember correctly. Let me just take a look. Yeah, it looks like it's one of those proprietary. Oh no, it looks like it's a 24 pin. So we could foreseeably replace this with a SFX or something that might actually fit it, and this is a proprietary thing, and I don't know how well the bolt in, but otherwise here's how we're gonna do this. Let's get this taken out. I'm doing this one-handedly, so it should be a quick release. There we go, a quick release. You can see there, it's an HIS video card. The caps still look pretty good, and it is a standard 24 pin power connector, so I guess we really could replace this if we wanted to. And it has a built-in speaker there. So we have one PCI that was available, but that's being taken up by the VGA connector in the back, and I guess if you don't need the VGA connector, you can get rid of that and put something else low profile in there, like maybe even a Wi-Fi. You have to find something from that era. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to format the SSD. I'm just going to connect it in here and just going to try to test install on Windows XP. And my goal is to update Windows XP. The activation servers have actually been shut off. This is, of this recording, it's November 3rd, 2023. But there are ways to activate it with a legitimate key offline via the telephone system, and you can connect remotely to the Windows servers to do necessary updates on Windows XP. Driver support, that's just out the door. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can get this SSD installed and begin installing Windows XP. I kind of wish I had an adapter for this. Now that I look in the back of this caddy, there's actually a fan, and so this thing is pretty hardcore. They even have a fan blowing on the hard drive here. I don't know if I can actually bolt the SSD in here in any meaningful way. I might have to drill a hole. Okay, so I found as you can see, I found a 5 1/4, a 2.5 to 5 1/4, or 3.5, I'm sorry, adapter. I didn't even know I had it. but it fits perfectly in the Dell case. So we have that in there, and I have a Windows XP Service Pack 2 disk out, and I'm going to either use the method of using the original key that's on here, or I'm going to use the key that's on the disk to activate it. So we are doing the Windows setup right now, and let's see if we hit any hiccups. So I'm not going to videotape the whole thing, just the more important parts. Okay, so we got to the XP Professional setup. So we're gonna hit enter to set up now. And we're gonna F8 to agree, and then we don't have to delete the partition or anything if it's already been formatted. So we're just going to hit enter and install. It's NTFS file system, and then just hit enter, and we will go and format. Well, we'll let Windows XP do it just to be in the safe side, and then we'll press F. And then it'll format, and then after that we should be able to install it on there. So Windows XP doesn't support trim, so that's not a big thing because we're not going to be using it all the time. This computer is actually something that I want to keep around because in case we need a computer that needs to read floppy or any older things, then this computer is here because it's the only one in the shop that has a parallel port and serial port. And so we do have certain drivers backed up, and then we can use it to diagnose what randomly may or may not come into the shop. So right now we are doing XP Pro is doing the setup. This is actually the first time I've ever gone to install Windows XP onto an SSD. The data transfer rates aren't going to be anything magnificent because quite literally we're going to be limited by XP in terms of the data transfer rates onto the SSD. So we will probably get some better access times and maybe a little bit better multitasking and such. But I'm kind of interested and kind of psyched to see how it runs. So once this gets done, I will name the computer, and let's see if we can get some drivers on there and see if we can get the updates going on it. Windows XP loading up. So I don't have the speakers hooked up or anything like that because I kind of do miss the Windows setup music. When this is happening, it's kind of cool. But yeah, Windows XP took a while to load back in the day, depending on the kind of system you had. But we will just let it run, and hopefully we're not going to hit any bugs. I think I installed this with no issues. Sometimes you might have issues with graphics drivers, and stuff like that, but it's only going to install a generic, Windows graphics driver. And hopefully we don't have anything else that's going to hold us up when we do this install. But let's see if the mouse works, and we do have the Logitech wireless mouse put in there, and I'm using the Logitech wireless set right here. And once I have it set up there, we'll go to the next step and show you guys how to install drivers and also how to get the update going. So basically how to set it up to connect to the Windows servers and do some of the more important updates on Windows XP. You not get all of them, but you get probably the more important ones and such. Okay, so here we go. We don't have music, but click next. Not right now. And we're going to, okay, thank you, finish. And we should get a good splash screen at first right here. So Windows, there we go. Awesome. Install no hitches. I like classic view, so we're gonna go here and then we go to system. Yes, so I did upgrade the CPU to a Core 2 CPU. So it's not Core 2 Dual, the 6600 at 2.4 gigahertz. And so we have 4 gigs of RAM, but only 3.25 is addressable by Windows XP. So max out the RAM for XP, and the graphics card, I honestly don't remember what it is. It's an HIS, so it's more than likely it's going to be a Radeon card. Let's do the not screensaver, what is the settings? Advanced. And, okay, so looks like we don't have the properties and there. So let's close it up, and it's not activated at the moment. It's pretty, let's see, this is definitely snappier than I ever remember XP being. So automatic, yeah, this I don't recall XP popping up this quick. So an SSD definitely does make a difference in terms of initial access time. Makes it a very nice experience, even when it's not even optimally installed. So let's look at the computer. We're going to go to management and see we have device manager, video controller. We don't know what the heck it is. Sound controller, audio. So we don't have everything, and it is asking for let's activate Windows, and so we're going to do that through a different way. But first, let's install the drivers. I'm going to use the Snappy driver, install system, which so I don't have to track down everything. There used to be something called PCI database, and it was our go-to thing for the longest time, and that has been out of commission for a long time. And so the Snappy installer has a collection of drivers. So we're going to install that program, and then we'll let it pull the drivers that it needs out of it. While transferring 35 gigs to via USB 1.1, for some reason, took forever. So let's go in. This is the Snappy driver installer, and let's install Snappy driver. And as we can see here, we're going to unblock this, and we see Windows XP 32-bit, and it's going to load up all the drivers that we see the chipset driver, we see the Logitech Universal and the USB 2 root, and then that's all it can actually find. PCI device, ATI. Okay, so it's the 5450, the Gigabyte controller, and but wasn't found in the PCI data pack. So there's a lot of stuff that isn't found. So let's just select all, and then we're going to install what it can find. I think we'll get the most important stuff. So let's let it install everything, and as you can see, it's extracting, and it's extracting a little bit better than it did in transferring data. But we are seeing it's actually using both cores, so that's good. This isn't the fastest dual core at all. It's pretty decent because it has decent level 2 cache, I want to say. But the SSD did make this a lot snappier. So I'm hoping that after we install all the drivers that we need to, then things will go well. But as you can see, it's going to do that, and then we're going to reboot after this. And once we reboot, let's see if we can get online. I'm going to probably install Service Pack 3, or no, actually what we're going to do is we're going to try to activate this after this. Okay, so I can't get the scaling directly right with DVI, and the HDMI is connected to something else. I think we have to get the AMD drivers themselves to get the correct scaling here. So I'm going to have it at 720p right now. Let's try to activate Windows. Let's see if we can actually get online. Well, actually, we don't need to even go online. I did get believe it or not, the Wi-Fi works. So I was able to get that little NIC to work. So the driver pack did install that, so which is nice. Nice to have Wi-Fi right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to do an offline activation. And so we're going to use a program. I believe it's... where is it now? And I don't see it. Snappy driver, recycle, XP, Windows update. Okay, I don't see it. I have to actually transfer that file back onto the main drive, and I thought that it was actually there. So, but it's not, unless it's being hidden somehow. And it could be. It is actually not here, so I'll get that file in there, and let's see if we can activate it. So the program's called XP Activate 32, and what we want to do is this is going to allow us to do offline activation. I'm not going to do it because I don't want anybody using my information. What you do is, if you have a legit disk, you would get just say get from system. It'll create an installation ID, and then a confirmation ID. You would then use that to go. You want to activate Windows by phone. Okay, so you want to do that, go back. So basically what you want to do is, when you get to the let's activate Windows, you want to go, yes, I want to activate, I want to telephone customer service representative to activate Windows. And obviously you may or may not be successful in contacting somebody, because I don't know if Microsoft will do this anymore. Maybe they are, I don't know. Then after that, it's going to get you an installation ID. And once the installation ID is there, and you get a confirmation ID by the Windows XP telephone activation program, you install the installation ID and it should work. So let's give it a shot off screen. So actually, after confirming that, you just click activate, and if everything's correct and you don't have a bootleg CD, installation CD, you will actually see this. Thank you. You are ready to finish working Windows. Hit finish. It is actually activated. So Windows is now finally activated. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually, I'm going to install Windows XP Service Pack 3 from the computer itself. And then I'm going to update Internet Explorer, and I'll show you guys how to do a remote access to the Windows server to do essential updates on Windows XP in 2023. Okay, so I have gotten Google up. So as you can see, this is Google. So the certificates for Internet Explorer have all expired, and so if you go online there, you're just asking for it. But what I did was I installed what I have here is the offline Internet Explorer 8 update. I have the 32-bit Windows Media Player 11 update, and that only install if you have a valid operating system. I had to install the Dell audio driver because the Snappy driver didn't find it. And I also had to install the Radeon. So we do have the Catalyst Control Center now. Still not getting what I want from the DVI, and there's probably scaling options, but I haven't really turned that on yet. So, and VLC 32-bit, I installed that also. And so I don't know if that's going to work. I have to get a file there. But what I want to do is, now that I know that we're online, I want to go and we're going to do the Windows update. So basically what you need to do is you need to get quite a bit of information, stuff done right away. What you want to do is you want to get the, let's see, it's going to be the Windows Update Agent for x86, the Visual C++ 2012, and then right here, this is the, I forgot what it was, but I'm going to do the Visual. So we're going to do the Microsoft Visual C++ Redistributable x86. So we want to agree to that. And that shouldn't take too long. That's installed. I believe what we need to do next is we need to install the Windows Update Agent for x86, and we're going to run that. And so let's zoom out. Even I was talking, I wasn't even knowing this. So the Windows Update Agent 3.0 for 32-bit. We want to agree to all of that. It shouldn't take too long. Finish that. And we want to do the, I believe we want to do this right here, yes, our Microsoft International Domains Names Mitigation APIs. So we want to agree to that. That's a Windows Explorer update. And so we finished this. Once we have all that set up, we should actually be pretty much set. There is an update package here for, I believe this is for an update itself for Windows XP, but it's not necessary. So we want to download what is a WSUS proxy, and this is the unzipped version. Once we have that unzipped, what we want to do is we want to add WSUS. We hit that, and we're done there. Any key to exit, and we exited that. Now what we want to do is we want to run the WSUS. This can take some time. We're going to unblock that, and here we have the CMD we want that to actually run, and we want that actually to run for a while. So don't be afraid if it's frozen. It looks like it's frozen, but it's working. So I'm gonna pause the video, and we're gonna wait for it to actually start connecting. Okay, so to get it to double check everything, you want to go to automatic updates, and you want to actually select notify me, but don't automatically update or download them. You want to click that, and you have to hit OK and apply. Then you'll see activity on the monitor there. And what we want to do is we want to go to the run, and we want to type in this command. So it's basically this command right here, W detect now. That's basically going to prompt a checking for the updates, but prompting you to see if you want to download them. So we'll hit OK there, and eventually when we get better connected, we will see an update prompt there. And so I don't know how long that's going to take, so we're just going to let it do its thing, and when it pops up, I'll resume the recording. That didn't take too long, and actually there you see updates are ready for your computer. And let's click that. And so this is going to be the first update we're going to do. It's going to be the KB8 update. So let's download that right now. And once that downloads, actually, we're going to just you have to restart, and then if you want to update again, unfortunately, you have to run the WSUS again, and write the command prompt. But as long as you haven't overwritten the previous command in the run, it's going to remember your last command that you put in. So it's not too big of a deal to to retype it in. Well, you don't have to retype it in, so I guess that's what I mean. But we're gonna let that install, and then once it installs, we're going to again probably be prompted for a restart. And then once we restart, if we're lucky, we don't have to, but we're going to restart, then do the other ones. There it goes. It's going to do, here we go. We want to do the custom, and that is the update that we want. And there we go. Updates are being installed, and this is updates being installed at, and this is right now, we are in November 2023, about 3:24. Actually, it's 4:27 Central Standard Time here. But there you go. Any question or comments, guys, post them at the bottom of the video. And here are some of the updates that you get: net framework updates, security updates, security updates, security updates, a whole bunch, and the end of life support notification. We're gonna download all those. So you don't actually have to download too many of these. It's like three checks for updates, and you get what Microsoft will have on their servers. And it's better than having no updates whatsoever. Drivers and such, we are working with older equipment, so it's basically you have to track them down yourselves. But there should be some out there for various things and equipment, so that's the hardest thing about Windows XP. Again, some people might be wondering why you want to do this. Well, Windows XP was supported for the longest time, and there we go. We have the computer here. We are limited by the power supply and by our form factor, but in terms of what we can do, this is pretty much decked out. We can get a more powerful, low profile PCI Express card, and so you can do more intensive gaming. The 5450 is decent enough to game on, quite frankly, for a lot of weaker, older XP titles. Some of the newer titles towards the end of the life of XP, they'll probably struggle with the 5450, but finding a low profile card that doesn't suck that much power is a little bit harder because we are limited by the power supply. But it is something where I wanted to get it up and done, and there are a lot of people on YouTube that actually were able to activate their system, and they had the updater software. So if I remember to, or if I can find the links, I'll put them in there. If not, just pause where the video is, where I was telling you guys about all that software. You should be able to look it up and download what you need to.